Just be really honest about what you need. I was listening to a podcast this morning, Restore the Glory, and one of the co-hosts, Jake Kim, he was talking about this. When you hear it out loud, it sounds pretty obvious, but it's just neat to hear him say it. He's like, look, I find in my own experience, if I have inner peace and I feel right with the Lord, I find it a lot easier to live a life of virtue and treat people well, right? It speaks to this duty that we all have to safeguard our sense of peace and recollection, and to be honest about what we need to maintain that sense of interior recollection. Just to cite a couple things. First of all, the habit of prayer. Again, you hear that and like, okay, what does that mean? Just saying prayers? Well, certainly that's part of it. But the way I like to think of it is like to have this regular habit where I carve out space in my day to allow God to tell me that He loves me. So imagine you have like a book written by a saint or a Catholic author, or maybe you have the daily readings, maybe you have the gospel, whatever. Something will speak to your heart. Something where the Lord can kind of, speak to you through this mediated thing. You are my beloved, you are cherished, and your value is not dependent on your ability to produce that which the world finds to be important and valuable. So this regular habit of prayer to carve out space to allow the Lord to speak to you all the time, I love you, right? So really, really important, right? Another thing that's really important to do in terms of self-care is to spend quality time with quality people. The Lord certainly calls us to interact with all manner of people, right? Some are easy to be with, some people are difficult to be with, right? But at the same time, the Lord sends across our path quality people that we can be ourselves with, who make us feel seen and known and loved. And to realize, well, no, that's really important that I carve out time to spend time with these people. Not to rush it, not to squeeze it in, but quality time with quality people. One more thing with regards to self-care, patience. Patience. You got to realize the invitation is to love your neighbor as yourself, right? So to be patient, especially when it comes to moments of stress and fatigue. We all have certain ideas of how our days are going to play out, right? But then what happens inevitably is we're going through our day, and we're not just tired and stressed, we're like unexpectedly tired and unexpectedly stressed. But what we tell ourselves in those situations is some variation of the tyranny of the should. I'm stressed, but I shouldn't feel stressed. I'm tired, but I shouldn't feel tired. And so we kind of push ourselves in those moments. But actually the invitation is to be especially patient and kind to yourself when you're unexpectedly stressed and feeling overwhelmed. It won't take long, just like a moment where like, gosh, I'm unexpectedly feeling these things. I'm my first neighbor, I gotta take care of myself, regain a sense of peace and recollection, even though it wasn't anticipated or planned.